Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're not just watching television.
No, definitely not.
We're really conducting an autopsy. We are dissecting an hour of media that, on the surface, looks like a gritty little crime thriller. But underneath, I mean, it is a psychological horror story.
Right, about the death of the soul.
Exactly.
It really is. So we are looking at Breaking Bad today, specifically Season 2, Episode 6, titled Peekaboo.
Yes.
And I have to say, looking at the stack of research we pulled for this deep dive, the shooting scripts, the lighting diagrams from Michael Slovis, the reception history from Wikipedia, this story is an anomaly.
How so?
Well, it feels less like a chapter in a serialized show and more like a standalone short film.
Yeah.
Almost about purgatory.
That is a perfect description. Purgatory with, like, wood paneling.
Yes.
And looking at the rankings here in our notes, yeah, the critics absolutely agree with that assessment.
They do.
The Ringer has this at 26 out of 62 overall. Vulture bumped it all the way up to number 13.
Which is huge.
And TV Guide, back in the day, actually placed this in their top 100 television episodes of all time.
Which is fascinating when you consider the log line. I mean, if you just read the summary on Netflix or Wikipedia, it sounds like a side quest.
Right, right.
It just says, Jesse Pinkman goes to recover stolen money from a pair of junkies.
That's it.
That's the entire A-plot. It sounds like filler.
But our mission today is to unpack exactly why it isn't filler. Why this specific story, which involves a stolen ATM and a neglected child, is actually the Rosetta Stone for the entire series.
We are going to look really closely at the role reversal theory today.
Yes, the moral polarity.
Exactly. How this story flips the moral polarity of our two main guys, Walt and Jesse.
Because we are going to see Jesse, the supposed bad guy, stumble into this sort of accidental sainthood.
Right.
And simultaneously, we're going to watch Walter White, the good father and the teacher, actively choose to become a villain.
It's the exact moment the graph lines cross.
It really is. So let's get into the setup. We have to set the scene for you.
Yeah.
Because the atmosphere here is heavy.
Very heavy.
You can practically smell the set through the screen.
You really can. And context is important for you to understand here. This originally aired on April 12, 2009.
Oh.
It was written by J. Roberts and Vince Gilligan himself.
Right, the creator.
But the direction is what really stands out to me in the production notes. It was directed by Peter Medak.
And Peter Medak is a legend.
Oh, absolutely.
He directed The Ruling Class. He did The Changeling. He really knows how to shoot in closed spaces to make them feel claustrophobic.
Exactly. And if you look at the production notes we gathered, the visual language of the show completely shifts here.
Yeah, normally Breaking Bad is known for those wide, bright, yellow-tinted desert shots.
Albuquerque in the sun.
Exactly. But Medak and the cinematographer Michael Slovis, they went for something totally different inside this house.
They crushed the blacks. The shadows are just deep, inky. It's almost a noir aesthetic, but a very grimy, drug-fueled noir.
Grimy is the word. It feels sticky.
Sticky, yeah.
That's the only word for it, and the sound design totally supports that. We actually have to talk about the needle drop right at the beginning.
Oh, the Coltrane tract.
Yes. By the Numbers, by John Coltrane.
It is a brilliant choice.
It's this smooth, very structured jazz track. But the title, By the Numbers, is so heavily ironic.
Because nothing about what Jesse is about to walk into is by the numbers.
Right.
It is complete chaos.
It's a spiraling improvisation.
Yeah.
Jesse thinks he's going on a routine collection run.
He's putting on his costume.
Yeah, he's practicing in the car. You see him in the rearview mirror yelling, "Where's my money?" over and over.
He is trying to psych himself up to be the scary drug dealer.
And that is such a key insight into Jesse at this stage in the story. He is basically cosplaying as a gangster.
He really thinks if he wears the big hoodie and yells loud enough, he is suddenly the guy.
Right, he's doing an impression of what he thinks a criminal looks like.
Precisely. He is playing a role, but then he actually gets to the house. The target.
The couple who ripped off Skinny Pete. Identified in the sources as Spooge and Spooge's woman.
Right. And Skinny Pete got ripped off because he is, frankly, not very scary either.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So Jesse arrives at this dilapidated house, and the production design team deserves a medal here.
They really do.
I was reading in the notes that they spent days aging the wallpaper, peeling it back just so.
Scattering very specific types of debris.
Yeah, to make it look lived in but totally dead.
I like to call it the cargo cult of domesticity.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
You know that concept where you build the shape of an airport hoping the planes will land?
Right, right.
Well, this house has the shape of a home.
Yeah.
There's a couch, a TV, a kitchen, but the actual spirit of a home has been completely exorcised by the addiction.
Wow.
It is just a shell where people exist merely to consume.
That's a great way to put it. It represents the consumer end of the product that Jesse sells.
Exactly.
You know, he is so used to the manufacturing side,
Mm-hmm.
the chemistry, the clean lab, the neat stacks of cash.
The glamour of it.
Yeah, the money he hopes to make. But this is the very end of the supply chain.
Yeah.
Just filth and decay.
And that brings us to the actual brooch. Jesse breaks in. He kicks the door, gun drawn. He is ready for a shootout.
He's got his adrenaline dumping,
He is absolutely ready for violence.
but the house is quiet.
It's empty.
Or so he thinks.
Right. And this is where the story drives the knife in. He turns a corner, and he finds the boy.
God, that
It's
reveal.
intense.
It isn't a jump scare, it's a heartbreak scare. And I really want to highlight Aaron Paul's acting here. He actually got an Emmy nomination for this performance.
Well-deserved.
Because he doesn't say a line like, oh my God, a child.
He doesn't have to say anything.
No, the entire shift is just in his eyes.
It is the dilated pupils of trauma meeting the dilated pupils of empathy.
Jesse just freezes.
You have to remember, if you look at the entire moral universe of Breaking Bad, children are the sacred line. They are the ultimate innocent bystanders. Walt eventually becomes completely willing to cross that line. But Jesse never does.
Never. He sees this kid who is dirty, shirtless, totally silent.
Watching a shopping channel on a TV that is literally just static.
Right. And Jesse's mask just drops. The gangster vanishes entirely.
Mm-hmm.
And the big brother appears.
The source material notes specifically say that Jesse finds and tends to the son.
Dense.
And that word tends is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
It is.
He checks the fridge, there's no food, he tries to engage the kid. And this interaction actually leads to the title of the episode.
Peekaboo.
Jesse plays Peekaboo with the boy. Now let's dig into the psychology of that game for just a second.
Please do.
So Jean Piaget, the famous developmental psychologist, talked about Peekaboo in the context of object permanence.
Okay.
A baby learns that just because they can't see mom doesn't mean mom ceases to exist.
Right. The object remains permanent even when hidden.
Exactly. It's fundamentally about building a trust in reality.
But in this house, reality is a complete nightmare.
Precisely. So Jesse playing Peekaboo is doing two distinct things. One, he is trying to distract the kid. Yeah. He is literally using his own hands to block the child's view of the squalor. He's saying, don't look at the filth. Look at me. Look at the funny face.
He's editing the kid's reality.
He is acting as a human shield against the trauma.
Wow.
But secondly, I think Jesse is trying to reassure himself.
How so?
He is checking to see if there's still any innocence left in the world. If he can get the kid to laugh, then maybe the world isn't completely gone to hell.
It's a desperate grasp for humanity.
It really is.
And while all this quiet bonding is happening, the tension for the viewer is just ratcheting up because we know the monsters are coming home.
We're just waiting for Spooge and the woman to walk through that door.
And the casting here is incredible. David Urey and Dale Dickey.
They are phenomenal character actors.
But in this specific story, they completely transform.
They have this jittery, almost insect-like energy.
Yes.
They are constantly moving, scratching, twitching around the set.
They finally arrive. And Jesse ambushes them. And immediately the tone shifts from this quiet, tragic chamber drama right back to a hostage situation.
Jesse demands his money. Where is it?
And of course, they don't have it.
They smoked it. They lost it.
It's the standard addict logic. The money is gone, but hey, we have a plan.
The plan. The prize.
Yeah, they show Jesse the ATM sitting right there in the living room.
This prop. The ATM. It is the ultimate symbol of the entire hour. It sits there like a monolith.
They stole an entire ATM from a convenience store.
Which is just, the sheer absurdity of it is staggering.
It's crazy.
It is literally capitalism in a box. They have stolen a machine that represents banking, commerce, and liquidity.
Right.
It is fully loaded with money, but they have absolutely no way to access it.
None.
It becomes a heavy steel metaphor for their lives. They are carrying the weight of the system, but they can't extract any of the value out of it.
It's this dark, tragic comedy. Spooge is down there with a hammer and a drill, actually thinking he can outsmart a bank vault.
He's sweating. He's swearing at the machine.
And Jesse is distracted.
And this is where the role reversal we talked about starts to have real physical consequences.
Yeah.
Jesse is a bad criminal because he is a good person.
Right. He should be watching the hostages.
He should be securing the room, controlling the sightlines.
But he is watching the kid.
He is playing with the boy, making sure the boy isn't scared by the drilling and the yelling.
And that compassion is a massive tactical error.
It is. The woman, Spooge's woman, sees that his focus is split.
She realizes he isn't a killer.
Exactly. A real hardened killer wouldn't care about the brat on the floor.
Right. So she makes her move.
She knocks him out. I believe she uses a bottle or some heavy glass object.
Something heavy, yeah. The house itself basically turns on him. Bam. Lights out.
And when Jesse wakes up, the power dynamic has completely flipped.
They have his gun.
They have his money. They have his drugs. He is tied up on the floor.
And this leads us to the climax of the house segment, the death of Spooge.
Which is one of the most gruesome, yet strangely Looney Tunes moments in the show's entire run.
It really is dark slapstick.
So Spooge is frustrated. He's been drilling at this machine for hours. He decides to tilt the massive ATM back to attack it from the bottom.
Which, just from a physics standpoint, is already a terrible idea.
Very bad idea.
But the machine doesn't kill him. Not really. His mouth kills him.
Words are violence in this episode.
Explain that.
Well, throughout the scene, the woman has been warning him over and over, don't call me that.
Right. She has a specific trigger word.
She does. Skank.
Skank. And this is a fascinating psychological beat.
It really is. These two people live in absolute, unmitigated filth.
They have abandoned their child's basic needs.
They have stolen. They have lied. Any semblance of moral dignity is completely gone.
But she still has personal pride.
Yes. She still has a line of respect she simply will not let him cross.
It's so oddly specific. You can live in a house full of garbage, but you cannot be disrespected.
Exactly. So he says it. He's under the machine, and he calls her a skank.
And she doesn't even hesitate.
She doesn't wind up. She doesn't yell back.
She just tips the machine.
Gravity takes over.
Like wish.
And the sound design there, it is so visceral.
It's awful.
But what happens next is what really haunts me about this scene. It's the reaction, or really the total lack of one.
She doesn't scream. She doesn't try to lift it off him in a panic.
She goes straight to the couch.
She takes the drug she stole from Jesse.
And she just gets high.
That detachment is terrifying.
Oh.
The problem, which was Spooge, is gone. The solution, which is the meth, is here.
Her loop is closed.
She just sits there, slowly passing out, while her partner lies crushed, literally 3 feet away.
It's incredibly dark. But it creates the opening for Jesse's escape strategy.
And here's the dark irony of the universe. When the ATM crushes Spooge's head, the sheer force makes the door pop open.
It finally pays out.
Death literally unlocked the cash.
So Jesse wriggles free from his restraints. He grabs his gun back. He grabs whatever cash he can from the machine.
Now, if you think about it, a true criminal, a Heisenberg type, would take the money, wipe his prints, and vanish into the night.
Leave no trace.
But Jesse doesn't do that. That's his moral act.
He grabs the phone.
Yeah.
He dials 911.
Think about the massive risk he's taking there.
It's huge. He is a known associate in the local drug trade. He is placing himself directly at a grisly murder scene.
He leaves the line open so the dispatchers can trace the address.
He is effectively confessing to being there, risking a massive prison sentence just to make absolutely sure the cops come to rescue the boy.
And then we get the final image of his exit. He runs out to the porch. It's night now.
He brings the kid outside.
And he says to him, "You have a good life, kid."
That line destroys me every single time I watch it.
Why?
Because you have a good life. Jesse knows, statistically, the kid probably won't. The foster system's going to swallow him up.
Yeah.
But Jesse did the one single thing he had the power to do in that moment. He got him out of the house.
He tells him, "Whatever you do, don't go back inside.
He preserves the peekaboo game one last time.
Don't look at the horror. Stay out here in the dark, but don't look at the horror inside."
It is the most heroic act Jesse performs in the entire series.
Aaron Paul is just brilliant in this sequence.
He leaves that scene a criminal, technically, but he acts as a total savior. He saves the boy from the trauma of seeing the aftermath.
He preserves that innocence as best he can.
Exactly.
Now, I want you to hold that image in your mind.
Jesse Pinkman, shaking, terrified, but acting as a savior.
Because now we need to cut across town to the B plot.
To Walter White.
The contrast here is incredibly jarring. We go directly from the rot and the dark shadows to the sterile, bright fluorescent lights of a high school classroom.
Walt is back. The conquering hero returns to teaching.
Right. Context here, this is Walt's very first day back after his chemotherapy.
His cancer is in remission, or at least it's retreating, and he is back at the whiteboard.
But he isn't really teaching chemistry.
No, not at all.
He is teaching a parable about his own bruised ego. The lecture topic is Dr. Tracy Hall. And I really want to deep dive into this specific historical anecdote because the show glosses over the real history.
Yes, the diamond metaphor.
And I think knowing the truth about Hall really illuminates Walt's distortion of reality.
Oh, absolutely. So, for the listeners, H. Tracy Hall was a real physical chemist.
He worked for General Electric in the 1950s.
And he really did invent the pressure press that created the very first synthetic diamonds.
It was a massive, world-changing breakthrough for industry. We're talking drill bits, saws, modern electronics.
And Walt's version of the story in the classroom is that Hall made this brilliant discovery. GE made incalculable profit, billions of dollars, and Hall got, what was the number Walt used?
A $10 savings bond.
Right. Walt says he got a pittance, a $10 savings bond for changing the world.
Now, in reality, Hall was treated a bit better than that by GE, though he certainly didn't become a billionaire off the patent.
No, he didn't. But he eventually left GE on his own terms and had a very distinguished, happy career in academia.
Right. He wasn't a bitter, broken man. He was a successful scientist who loved doing the actual work.
But Walt doesn't paint him as a scientist who loved the work. Walt paints him as a profound victim of corporate greed.
Because Walt is projecting.
Exactly. He looks at Tracy Hall and he sees himself staring back.
He looks at General Electric and he sees gray matter technologies.
He sees Gretchen and Elliot Schwartz.
He truly believes he is the singular genius who built the foundation of their company, and they are the corporate vultures who swooped in and reaped the rewards.
So this lecture to the students isn't about carbon bonds or chemistry. It is about Walt's resentment.
He is teaching these kids that the world is a scam and that true geniuses get screwed over.
He is literally indoctrinating them into his own bitterness.
It perfectly shows his headspace at this exact moment in the timeline.
He should be ecstatic. He is alive. The chemo worked.
He's back with his family.
But he is miserable because he feels cheated.
And that feeling of being cheated, that deep-seated pride, drives him directly into the massive conflict with Gretchen in the next segment.
The web of lies is getting incredibly tight here.
Let's remind the listener of the setup here because it's tangled.
Skyler, Walt's wife, believes that Gretchen and Elliot Schwartz are paying for Walt's expensive medical bills.
That is Walt's central cover story for where the meth money is coming from.
Right. And Skyler, being a normal, grateful person, calls Gretchen to thank her for saving her husband's life.
And Gretchen, who is confused but very polite, doesn't blow Walt's cover immediately on the phone.
But the dam is breaking. It's a complication Walt didn't foresee.
Skyler gets a call from Gretchen, and she invites Gretchen over to the house.
So Walt comes home, pulls up to his suburban house, and sees the massive Bentley parked in his driveway.
The pure panic on Bryan Cranston's face in that moment.
It's amazing. He isn't afraid of the police cartel finding him. He's afraid of his wife finding out the truth.
So Walt hurries inside, manages to intercept the conversation, and hustles Gretchen out to her car.
And out there in the driveway, we finally get the confrontation we have been waiting for since season 1.
The backstory of gray matter.
Gretchen demands to know what is going on.
She asks, if we aren't paying for this treatment, who is?
Which is a completely reasonable question to ask a friend.
Completely reasonable. But Walt refuses to answer. He denies her the right to know anything about his life.
And then she pivots to the past, the real issue.
She asks him point blank, what happened to us? Why did you leave me?
This is such a crucial piece of lore for the whole Breaking Bad universe.
It really is.
For a long time, viewers assumed Walt was unfairly pushed out of gray matter, that his partners conspired and stole the company from him.
But here Gretchen confirms the opposite.
Walt left. He walked away.
He packed his bags, broke up with her, and sold his share of the company for $5,000.
It was entirely his choice.
And when she confronts him with this reality, that his current mundane life and his lack of billions is actually a direct result of his own choices, how does he react?
Well, does he reflect? Does he apologize?
No. He explodes.
He looks her dead in the eye and curses at her. He drops an F-bomb on her.
Ending the conversation violently. It is a verbal slap to the face.
It is emotional violence, and if you compare it to the ATM scene we just discussed.
Oh, that's a brilliant connection.
The addict woman killed Spooge because he insulted her dignity by calling her a skank.
Right.
Walt effectively kills his long-standing relationship with Gretchen, and really his last remaining link to his pure scientific past self, because she bruised his ego.
He burns the bridge to the ground just to protect his internal narrative that he is the victim.
And then the scramble. Gretchen drives off in shock.
Walt goes back inside. Gretchen is gone. Skyler is sitting there waiting for an explanation.
He has to explain why the quote-unquote money has suddenly stopped coming.
And this is where the cover-up becomes truly pathological.
Skyler tells Walt that Gretchen called to cancel the funding. Skyler assumes it's because of the economy or something normal.
And Walt just improvises. He spins it. He tells Skyler they're broke.
He claims the Schwartzes have gone completely broke.
He even claims he went all the way to Santa Fe to discuss it with them.
Why that specific lie? Out of all the lies he could possibly tell his wife.
He could have said, "We had a fight."
He could have said they're greedy and decided to stop paying.
But he says they are destitute.
Because it satisfies his massive ego.
He constructs a reality where his wealthy former partners are suddenly broke.
In his mind, he needs to be the absolute winner. The only way he can be the king is if the other kings fall.
He essentially bankrupts them in his imagination just to make himself feel superior in that moment.
He's telling himself, I have the money now. I am the provider. They are nothing.
It is so petty. It is just so small.
It is. He isolates himself further from the truth. And that is the brilliance of the writing here.
We think of Walter White as this cold, calculating criminal mastermind.
But at his core, he is just a petty, jealous, deeply insecure man.
So you have these two parallel tracks running simultaneously.
Jesse, in the House of Horrors, actually finding his core humanity.
Facing a harsh truth in the drug house.
And Walt, in his safe suburban castle, completely losing his humanity by building a fortress of lies.
That is the role reversal theory that critics focus on.
Let's discuss Donna Bowman's review from the AV Club.
Yes, I have it right here.
She gave the episode an A-, specifically for this structural reason.
She pointed out that usually in traditional crime fiction, the criminal is the immoral one.
And the teacher or the father figure is the moral anchor of the story.
But this episode totally flips the board.
Completely reverses it. The bad guy, Jesse, acts with striking moral clarity and compassion.
He protects the innocent. He sacrifices his own safety for a child.
While the good guy, Walt, acts with extreme deceit, anger, and petty resentment.
He creates emotional chaos just to preserve his ego. He treats his own wife like a pawn in his game.
It forces the audience into a really uncomfortable position.
Because at this early point in Season 2, we are still trained by television conventions to root for Walt.
He is the protagonist. We naturally want him to get away with it.
But Peekaboo grabs the viewer by the collar and says, "Really, look at this guy. Look at what he is doing."
It challenges our loyalty. Are you really on the side of the guy who wishes bankruptcy on his old friends just out of spite?
Or are you starting to realize that the janky dropout might actually be the only person with a soul left in this entire narrative?
I want to go back to the core concept of Peekaboo one last time.
The title of the episode.
Yes. We talked about it with Jesse and the kid hiding from the ugly reality of the house.
Right.
But Walt is playing Peekaboo too, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely. He is covering his own eyes to his moral decay.
It's the object permanence of morality for him. If he doesn't openly acknowledge Gretchen's financial help, it never happened.
If he doesn't tell Skyler the truth about the meth, he isn't really a drug dealer in his home life.
He truly thinks that if he just hides the truth behind his hands, the consequences disappear.
He believes he can curate reality through sheer force of will.
Where is Jesse? Jesse rips his hands away from his eyes.
He stares right at the dead body under the ATM.
He stares at the neglected kid. He stares at the squalor of his own product.
He absorbs the raw trauma of the truth.
And that is the fundamental tragedy of Breaking Bad. The penalty for having a conscience in this world is extreme pain.
Jesse hurts deeply because he actually looks at the damage he causes.
Walt feels totally fine because he is willfully blind to it.
Jesse lives in the painful world of truth.
Walt lives in the comfortable, padded bubble of lies.
And as the series goes on from this episode, we see that bubble harden into impenetrable armor.
It's incredibly heavy stuff, but it is exactly why this specific hour ranks so high on all those lists.
It isn't just an action episode about recovering stolen meth.
No, it's a profound philosophy lecture with a body count.
Exactly. So to summarize our key takeaways from the sources.
We have covered the stark cinematography shifts,
The real history of synthetic diamonds and Tracy Hall.
the developmental psychology of the Peekaboo game,
The dual storylines contrasting the horror of the ATM house with the cold bitterness of the White household.
and the sociopathy of the ATM crush itself.
We have covered a lot of ground today.
A lot to digest.
I want to end with a final thought on the legacy of this episode.
Okay.
You mentioned TV Guide ranking it in their top 100 episodes of all time way back in 2009.
Right.
And The Ringer and Vulture ranking it so highly in their retrospectives. Do you think that high praise holds up in 2026?
I really do. I actually think it holds up better now than it did when it first aired.
Why is that?
We are in an era of television where anti-heroes are everywhere. Every show has a dark, brooding protagonist.
True.
But Breaking Bad was entirely unique in how it deconstructed the anti-hero myth.
And Peekaboo is the thesis statement for that deconstruction.
It tells the audience being a badass criminal isn't cool, it's dirty, it smells bad, and it deeply hurts innocent children.
It strips away all the Hollywood glamour.
There is no cool music montage when Jesse is walking through that house.
No, it's just silence, static, and flies.
And that brutal honesty is why it sticks with people years later.
You can easily forget the complex plot mechanics of the season.
Who owes who money? The cartel politics.
But you never forget the enduring image of that silent kid sitting on the stairs.
Or the sound of the ATM falling.
Or the sound of the ATM falling.
It's burned into the brain.
Well, this has been quite a journey. From the dilated pupils of a neglected child to the wildly dilated ego of a high school chemistry teacher.
We certainly went there.
I want to leave you, the listener, with a final provocative closing thought. We touched on this, but let's make it explicit for you to mull over.
Lay it out.
In this episode, we witnessed two distinct acts of extreme destruction.
Right.
One was loud, messy, visceral, and involved physically crushing a human skull with a steel machine.
It was committed by a woman high on meth who had completely lost her mind.
A crime of pure passion and madness.
Yes.
The other act was quiet. It happened in a sunny suburban driveway and a clean kitchen.
It was committed by a perfectly sober man in a nice button-down shirt.
And it involved destroying a lifelong friendship and lying to a pregnant spouse, all just to preserve a false sense of superiority.
A crime of cold calculation and massive ego.
So the question for you to explore is, which one of these acts was actually more destructive in the grand scheme?
Which person is further gone morally?
The woman who killed in a flash of drug-fueled anger over an insult? Or the man who systematically dismantles the truth and isolates his family because he simply cannot handle being grateful?
I think we know the answer to that, but it's a very scary answer to admit.
Think about it. Thanks for listening to this deep dive. We'll see you next time.
Stay curious.